I'm so happy to have this time with you. Right away, get comfortable in your body and drop into the rich fullness of this moment now, dropping in and tuning in to the elegance that is your mind when it's fine-tuned like a Stradivarius. So tuning in and then turning on to the power of possibility as we prepare to practice. So just feel yourself breathing here. Feel yourself, witness yourself as the intersection of so much that's powerful. You, each of you, are the intersection of destiny, of necessity, of mission, of usefulness, of genius, of service, of elevation, of vision, of passion, of velocity, of alchemy, of legacy. You're the intersection of all of these parts. Feel yourself, feel the center of that wheel as it's rolling forward, empowered with direction and possibility. So let these next few minutes that we have together to work in this way be a few minutes of being on the other side of time. So park everything and anything that has been vying for your attention and just be in the rich fullness of this moment so that you can, so that we can collectively bust through any of the denatured states that we have been experiencing in this past year, the states of confusion or of comparison or of competition, busting through all those states and really uncovering our innate wisdom. Uncovering the innate wisdom and bringing more air into the system. Okay, so I'd like to start right away with a cleansing practice. This is a beautiful practice that's going to move a lot of energy. So I'm going to just quickly change the song. And I'm going to show you. See, we're going to do breath of fire. We do that all the time in IP. So listen. Now, every time I exhale, I'm pulling my abdominal wall in, and I'm really dynamizing everything that's living inside of the ball of the belly. This is a beautiful practice that's going to align you with a fertile, high frequency of your own fulfillment. This is so important right now. Getting aligned with that frequency. So you're going to tap your chest. In this case, we'll start with the right hand at the heart, at the center, at the intersection point of all those qualities and points of action that I just named. So you're going to tap your heart while you throw the other arm back. So you're really cleaning out from your physical body, and you're cleaning out from your aura anything that you are done with, the stuff that you are ready to stop caring about, that no longer has, a role in your destiny path. So it's going to look like this. Then I'm going to switch. So I'm really activating by tapping the chest. Okay, so let's try this together. When I stop and talk to you, which I inevitably always do, stay in the practice, stay full power in the practice until I ask you to stop, okay? So we're going to do 4 on each side, and then push the arms forward. And then 4, 2, 3, and 4. Push the arms forward, and then 4 on the other side. Doing it in tandem with the rhythmic percussive nature of your breathing like fire, okay? You got it? You're doing good. So stay in this. Go as deep into the feeling of your body being breathed as you possibly can, and open up the matrix inside of your body-mind organism. Open up the matrix and discover our collective accelerating field. We are on a new playing field right now. So make that discovery. You are in a field where, yeah, it's been closed culture, it's been canceled culture in so many ways, but with all that has been closed, simultaneously there is so much that is open to us right now. All the doors are open to us right now if we choose to look through that lens, right? If we select that as our angle, stay with it, feel your whole body actively participating in this cleansing breath. Bring some attitude into the way that you are throwing the old out of your system. Bring an altitude of attitude. Cut things off at the root that you no longer want to be hosting or hostessing. Okay? So you're making space to tap into the time release of the hidden treasures that are waiting inside of you to be discovered, right? The destiny, the necessity, the mission, the vision, the velocity, the passion, and so forth. Opening up that point of intersectionality at the heart every time you tap it. And hopefully you haven't stopped, because I don't know if you have. Hopefully you haven't stopped, and hopefully you're a little bit on fire with this. You will uncover the hidden trunk of reactivity, the hidden trunk of anger. You will cross your own barriers. You will break through your own taboos if you stay in this practice. You will cut through all of that. Bring your altitude of attitude. Here's the thing, is attitude is everything, right? So how can you clear out the stuckness, the stiffness, the stickiness, and make space to discover the time release of these hidden treasures? Just a couple more. Good. Beautiful. So, moving right along, go ahead and break the practice, bring it to a close. And just have a moment to, of course, notice what just moved inside of you. So you're going to bring, for this next practice that we're going to do, you're going to bring your arms up into a V. And you're going to ignite your index fingers and just join the thumb to the other 4 fingers on each of the hands, like so, okay? The arms are going to stay like this for the next long while. And you're going to do, if you have your arms up like this, you can bring them down for a moment while I talk to you. So you're going to do a breathing technique that we do every now and again in IP, and this is the whistling breath. So you're going to, of course, pucker the lips as you need to in order to whistle. And you're going to whistle on the in breath, and you're also going to whistle on the out breath. So simply try this with me, okay? So research has revealed that our vagus nerve is stimulated rather profoundly when we pucker our lips like this in an exaggerated way. And we know that the vagus nerve is involved in our feelings of compassion and in our feelings of empathy and our experience of goodness. So this next breathing technique, the whistling breath, is going to be working directly with your vagus nerve. Okay, so you're going to have the arms up and the index fingers are going to be ignited, and you're going to set the gaze at the tip of the nose, and we're going to inhale and then exhale. Okay, so go ahead and start that. Find the intersection of breath and music. this is a crazy technique, but of course, in all of these IP breathing technologies, we love crazy, right? Because usually the crazier it is, the more effective it is, the more it moves inside of our system. Okay, so whistling on both the inhale and the exhale. And as you're doing so, see if you can cultivate a pause at the end of the inhale, and also then cultivate a pause after the exhalation whistle, okay? So the vagus nerve, it's the longest cranial nerve. It's named after the Latin word for wanderer. So this vagus nerve is wandering from the brain, through the organs, through the neck, through the chest, down into the abdomen. It's supplying motor and sensory parasympathetic fibers to everything from the neck down to the first third of your transverse colon. It's doing so much for you. So really allow your attention and your visualization to invert as you're taking care. Our nervous system is so important. We want to take care of this vagus nerve, this life nerve. It's involved in your heart rate. It's involved in intestinal peristalsis. It's involved in speech. It's involved with sweating and with many of the muscles in the mouth. It's important in keeping the larynx healthy and for open breathing. And it also has a big role in some of the skeletal muscles. It's such an important thing to be taken care of. So whistle, my friends. When you whistle, you're changing your circulation. When you whistle, the nerves in the tongue are activating the higher glands, such as the thyroid and the parathyroid. Your lung capacity is increasing. Keep whistling while you work. In this case, you are whistling while you are meditating, and it's the whistling that is relaxing all of the tension and the stress right out of you. Whistling. Inhale with a whistle and exhale with a whistle. Let the arms be enticing and alluring and inviting your spine to sit up longer and stronger and taller. Feel your in-breath as the intersection of where breath and music unify, and so too on the out-breath, the intersection of both. This is so powerful. It's so gentle. It's so beautiful. And when we whistle, we are cultivating our neutrality. We come out of all of the intense, massive, pervasive polarity, and we cultivate our neutrality. Always a good idea. A couple more. Bringing in the Beatitudes of grace and of devotion, of balance, of inspiration. Your biography is becoming your biology. Cleaning, breathing, illuminating. Every time you meditate, every time you practice, you're synchronizing with the power of the Beatitudes that are awaiting your discovery on the inside of your inside. You're aligning, you're synchronizing with your right to remember, with your responsibility to live up to the best of your ability, the ability to respond, our responsibility. The beauty of practice is that it never needs any kind of external validation of any kind in order to be useful and beautiful. And practice is always an integrative process. It always is. We don't have a lot of spaces for integrative processes in our normative flow of life. And the thing about integrative processes is they always yield to the next right action. Feel your mind becoming more patient and more spacious, more connected to the cyclicity of beginnings and sustains and completions. Feel yourself aligning with the moment, knowing that, trusting that you are in the right place, you are in this right moment, doing the right thing. Every time we practice, we're changing trains. Keep whistling. Don't stop whistling. Let it love you open. Let it clean you up. Let it drop you into the truth of the center of your center. Let it tune you. Let it turn you on. So every time we practice, we change trains and we're moving in that progressive direction of growth. Moving in the progressive direction of growth. Let all the old states from this past year, there have been many, right? The denatured states. Let all of the old states be excavated and be passed through you on the whistle of your out breath. Letting go of despondency, letting go of any kind of confusion or anger or hopelessness. Let it move out of you like a distant memory. Use your body to create momentous change in the whole of your field, in the field of your being that you are occupying, that you are living in. And get the breath, just a few more friends, you're doing fabulous. Get the breath moving through, the super highways of your body, but get your breath, the whistling breath, get your breath moving through the back roads. Be curious, be light-footed, be open-hearted, be wide-eyed. Get the breath into the back roads. Breathing, let it be an elemental alignment. Take 3 more cycles through this. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring your hands back down to your knees and neutralize the breath. Just let the breath come to wherever it wants to be naturally. And hopefully after all of that whistling and after all that house cleaning, emptying out the trunk, right? Hopefully, again, there's that neutrality, that balance that is sincerely available to you right now. So take this moment and visualize a feather that is like hovering in the air right here in front of your nose and in front of your lips. And I'd like for you to explore what it would take for you to breathe in a way that would sustainably suspend the feather right there in front of you. So you're inhaling in a way that's supportive of this floating feather. So soft. And then you're exhaling in a way that's not going to blow it away. So you're keeping the feather just floating here on the wind of the breath. Okay, working with the feather breathing. So let this first breath here be a kind of one more cleansing breath. Hovering the feather, so you have to breathe in such a gentle way. And let this next breath be a conscious balancing breath. Balancing the feather in front of your face in balanced connection with the Beatitudes, the supreme blessings of your own beingness and the power and the privilege and the prana and the possibility of this emergent time that we're moving into. So we're going to just stay so simply in this. Okay, so as I was listening to a lot of the check-ins, I was hearing a few indications of people feeling affected by the Vata vibes of the changing season. Anytime we're in that transitional gate of one season moving into the other, particularly when summer moves into autumn, and particularly when winter moves into spring, we feel this kind of vataness. We feel winded. We feel potentially more susceptible to just not feeling balanced in general. Okay, so I want you to just float the feather here, and we're gonna visualize the vayus. We're gonna visualize the 5 primary winds that are not outside of the body in the external landscape, but the 5 winds that are in the inner terrain of your human body. So just tune back into the feather. And let your eyes be closed for these next few moments. Let your body be really comfortable but upright, still but soft, holding a space for that fertile high frequency of fulfillment that is growing inside of you, or courting you, or calling you, or maybe it's even branding you. But holding a space for that quality of frequency. So we're going to work with prana, the prana vayu, which is the wind inside of your body. And here's the thing about the winds is when they're not balanced, we don't feel so great. But when the inner winds are balanced and harmonious, and we're tending to them consciously and unconsciously, then life can be really smooth, and lots of opportunity and excitement can present itself. So prana, the prana vayu is the head. It's happening in the head. It's happening in the chest. It has to do with, so visualize your head and visualize your chest. The prana vayu is the winds that are ascending, that are uplifting, that are elevating, that are accelerating, that are integrating. It has to do with intake. It has to do with inspiration. It has to do with propulsion and all of the forward momentum that all of us want to be in a direct dance with. So feel how the prana vayu, the wind of ascension, is finding its balance inside of your being, helping you to generate and to organize and to have a more penetrative presence, to have a penetrative presence that you are then delivering in every moment, inwardly and outwardly. So as your mind is tuning in to the wind, the upward lifting wind of prana vayu, let it refresh your brain. Let it be a brain refresher. One more breath here, floating the feather, breathing in such a gentle way. Get the winds balanced. The winds, these March winds. So we're going to switch gears now. So the polarity of the ascending vayu is the descending vayu, and this is what's called the apana vayu. In the applied yogic sciences, we call everything that is in the physical body from the pelvis region and down. This is the apana vayu. So visualize like a slow, calm, deep, balanced, meditative flow of air and wind and life force from the belt of your body down. So again, it includes your pelvis. It has to do with elimination. It has to do with anything that is moving downward and outward. Okay? And feel how as you are letting go, descending, grounding, connecting, releasing through the apana vayu, still floating the feather, that you are concentrating and consolidating the energy in your navel, which is also in that vicinity. So when our energy is concentrated in the navel and when it's balanced in the navel, then we can use our energy with greater wisdom. This is important. A few more breaths, floating the feather with this gentle meditative persistence in caregiving with the inhale and the exhale. Concentrating and consolidating. And just move your pelvis here for a moment. Good. So, still breathing in the same way, floating the feather and working with Samana Vayu. So this is the center of your being, Samana Vayu. It has to do with your ability to assimilate and your ability to absorb. Yeah, nutrition from what it is that you put into your mouth, but also from experience. So how are you assimilating? How are you absorbing? What's the discernment looking like these days? How are you consolidating what it is that you are assimilating, and how do you turn it back out as a contribution into the world? Again, we're working with a fertile, high frequency energy of fulfillment, of purpose, of usefulness. Feel it all concentrating and consolidating in the center of your body. Visualize this vicinity right underneath your sternum, right when the belly starts to get soft, and feel a drawing in and a radiating out as the breath is drawing in and radiating out, and as the feather is still floating. Again, witnessing this alchemy of usefulness and purpose. This is what allows us to become really successful in anything that we do. Whether we're just interested in being, geniuses in the art of living, or whether we want to be, geniuses in our particular sphere of professional influence. The alchemy of usefulness and purpose. This is what allows us to apply our genius more fearlessly. Getting into the quantum design that is swirling in your center. Still floating the feather, just quietly sitting, tuning into the inner wind right here in the center. And it's the Samana Vayu that allows you to hold multiple perspectives at once. It's the Samana Vayu that allows you to know yourself as the multiverse. Floating the feather, just being, nothing to do, just finding a deeper and deeper and deeper resonance with balance. And then moving your attention, you don't have to open the eyes or anything necessarily, but move your attention, your inverted awareness, to the Udana Vayu, which is in your throat. It's the wind that's moving through the throat. So we want to keep this dynamic function of the wind balanced, because that's what allows the machine of our body to run so smoothly. So Udana Vayu, it's your throat. It has to do with growth. It has to do with speech. It has to do with speed. It has to do with ascension and expression. So feel how, as you float the feather with your gentle breathing, that you're penetrating through any of the noise in your mind, or the noise of the day, or maybe it's even the noise of my voice, but just penetrating through all of the noise and getting into the flow state of the feather breathing. Circulating this Udana Vayu up and out of the body and through the throat and into the world around you. Floating the feather. And then this fifth vayu, this fifth wind that we want to create balance in our body, is the Vyana vayu. So this is the whole circulatory orb, this Vyana vayu. It has to do with expansiveness and pervasiveness. So visualize your whole field. Visualize the whole field. And how you can bring all of your agility and flexibility and plasticity to the way in which you're moving in the field around you. How you can bring your vision and your creativity and your prosperity into the field around you. One more breath of floating the feather and visualizing the whole field that you're resting inside of. And now, in this Vata season, I'd like for you to tune into the tail of your spine and let it grow like a deeply well-nourished taproot into the large space beneath your body, and ultimately then down into the deep, fertile soil of the earth. Letting these last moments connect you and ground you so that we're not feeling as winded or as wrung out. Connecting you so that you can ask yourself, yeah, where are the leaks? The leaks in thought or the leaks in behavior? Where are my exit doors? What do I want to be having a bigger experience of in my life right now? How can I be the living embodiment of the new archetype that wants to come through us as a people, as a community of practice, as a community of aliveness? How can I be this new archetype? How can I take really good care of this place, all of the winds that are moving through this place of my personhood? How can I learn more? How can I laugh more? How can I love more? How can I create more? How can I become the leader that I want to follow? Ground, connect, root. Feel yourself becoming more nourished, more resourced from within. How can we walk and talk and think in more elevated ways? Feel yourself grounding even more. How can you have a brighter experience of what it is that you came here to do with your life? Remember, you are the intersection of so much that means so much. You are the intersection of destiny, necessity, mission, usefulness, genius, service, elevation, vision, passion, alchemy, velocity, legacy. Feel the tail of your spine connecting you into the deep, fertile layers of the earth. Feel your spine then growing up. The prana vayu is lifting. The wind of ascension is lifting your spine upward. So your spine, your axis, is penetratively animated with a high frequency of purpose, of fulfillment. Your fulfillment it should be a non-negotiable. It should be a necessity. Feel the space in your physiology opening up to support that as you sit for a few more moments, fearlessly steering your genius. Just doing that. Fearlessly steering your genius in the direction of progressive growth, forward momentum, toward everything that's calling you. every filament of your essence. So alive. So dropping in with your attention one more time to the way the breath is moving. Is the feathers still hovering there because you are undisturbed, because you are equanimous and balanced and embodied and awake, restful but awake, tuned in, turned on. And let's take one last breath in this meditative space together. Inhale. And hold on to the breath. Be able to hold a lot. Hold on to it without feeling anxious. And then exhaling slowly, in no rush. Thank you so much. Sat Nam and Namaste.